Bryce Hayes, Gregory Burnett, and Mike McBride here with Texas Lutheran head coach Wade Wilson, Texas Lutheran pitcher Sydney Ouellette, and Texas Lutheran outfielder Kelly Jurden after their 6-2 win in the Seguin Texas Super Regional, clinching their opportunity to go to the Division III Women's College World Series. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Coach Wilson, general thoughts on today's game, and can you take a minute to reflect on your opponent and how that's going to prepare you to compete next week at the World Series?
Well, I thought it was, Belhaven, great team. And it starts with Kennedy in the circle. She is a competitor and gets after it, and our kids had to compete in the box. And they've got, the top of their order is just littered with kids that can swing the ball or swing the bat. And I think it was a huge advantage for us for the win going in this weekend. I think that limits them and probably affected them a little bit. So I think playing them at this point in the year is big for us heading into it, because every team, I told our kids after the game, every team we play in the World Series, the National Championship, is going to be like Belhaven. We're going to have to compete. It's going to be a grind, and I think prepare us for this week, for next week.
Sydney, great game today. Obviously, you pitched outstanding, and as well as coming into a very tough situation last night, which I was going to ask you about if you were interviewed last night, coming in with a runner at third base in that situation. But talk about the last, I guess, 8 1/3 that you pitched, or 8 2/3 you pitched. Talk a little bit about that and what your approach was.
My approach has always been to get ground balls. I just try to put the ball in play for my defense to do the work. They did a really good job at putting up runs offensively, which, takes a weight off my shoulders in the mound. And I can't give enough credit to Metzer behind the plate. She worked so hard for us to get strikes, and she was killing it today. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can remember the specific moment, but what I thought was the moment of the game. Bottom of the 6th, 1 out, double, puts the tying run at second base. They have 4-5 coming up. Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you remember that sequence? Can you talk about what you were thinking and how you approached those two hitters?
Just the meat of the lineup. I try to keep things simple, try to just, make them put the ball in play, try to make them hit to our defenders, and
Yeah. Well, it was an awesome moment. I thought it was the turning point of the game, in my opinion. Kelly, after what you might characterize as a slow night last night at the plate, you turned that around today. You had 3 hits, accounted for 3 of your team's runs. Talk about, did your approach change today, or was it just a really great day for you and you had the same approach?
My approach didn't change much. I mean, I'm always just trying to put the ball in play, which I didn't do as well last night. So coming in today, I just knew that I needed to attack early, and when I got a pitch that I liked, I needed to be swinging, and it worked out for me today, and I was able to help my team out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question I'll have is, discuss, and you've already done it a little bit, but discuss the experience this weekend and how that experience, not just playing Belhaven, but the entire experience of this weekend helps you guys out moving into next weekend, and how will you approach it?
Well, I think a couple ways in this question. I'll kind of get off a little bit, but I think the experience that especially our upperclassmen that have been in this situation from 2019 on, and we got 5 of these kids that played in 2019. So I think that experience helped us in this situation, and now for our young kids to be in moments like this weekend, whether they were on the field or in the dugout, the intensity of the game itself. I mean, we had to be sharp the entire weekend, and that's what you have to do to be good teams. So I'm super excited about how focused and the grind, and we talked about as a coaching staff for the game today that Kelly and Chas were our 4 strikeouts yesterday, and they've always had the ability to bounce back, and Chas had a couple hits today, and a big one that got us going early, and then Kelly had 3 hits and then an RBI and scored a couple runs. So our upperclassmen, it's huge for them to help our younger class bridge that gap, and hopefully we can carry this momentum into Salem.
And we talked about it earlier, but the 3 runs in the 7th after having 2 outs and the bases empty in a 1-run game completely changed the complexion of the game and deflated them, it looked like.
Absolutely, and it let me enjoy the 7th inning. That was enjoyable. I don't get to enjoy many games because it's so much tunnel vision going on, and actually when we had 2 outs there and Sid was in total control, I got to look up and make eye contact with a couple of our alumni sitting in the stands, and I have never done that. But I needed a little bit of luck from the guys that have been through this before. But I can't speak enough on Ashley's performance last night in the circle. And her grit that she showed, and then Sydney today was lights out. I mean, both of our pitchers, both days were phenomenal, and the reason we're sitting here and on our way to Salem. Our offense did enough, and defense did its job. But our pitching was our bread and butter this weekend, and we're fortunate to have pitching staff that we do.
All right, thanks you guys. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week in Salem.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.